Socrates, born around 470 BCE in Athens, is often hailed as the father of Western philosophy. Though he left no writings, his ideas live on through the works of his student Plato. Central to Socrates' approach was the belief that true wisdom comes from recognizing one's own ignorance. He famously stated, "I know that I know nothing." He employed the Socratic method, a form of cooperative dialogue that uses probing questions to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate ideas. Let's say someone says, "Exercise is always good." Socrates might ask, "Is exercise still good if someone is injured?" That question leads to reflection, pushing deeper into what we really mean when we say something is good. For Socrates, the key to a meaningful life was questioning everything, especially our own beliefs, so we can live more wisely and ethically. Socrates emphasized that an unexamined life isn't worth living. He believed that ethical virtue is the most important good, asserting that caring for one's soul leads to true happiness. His commitment to questioning and dialogue laid the groundwork for critical thinking, influencing countless generations to seek truth through inquiry. Plato was more than just a student of Socrates. He was the architect of Western thought. Born around 428 BCE, Plato believed that the world we see isn't the real world at all. In his allegory of the cave, he imagined people chained in a cave, mistaking shadows for reality. For Plato, the physical world is just a reflection of a deeper truth, what he called the world of forms. These forms are perfect, unchanging ideas like beauty, justice, or goodness. Everything we see is just an imperfect copy. To understand truth, Plato argued, we must use reason, not just our senses. And he founded the Academy, the first university in the Western world, where reason ruled over rhetoric. Plato didn't just ask what is real, he asked, how should we live? And 2,400 years later, we're still trying to answer him. When we think of logic, science, and realism in ancient philosophy, we think Aristotle. Unlike his teacher Plato, who believed in a world of perfect forms beyond our senses, Aristotle grounded his ideas in the physical world. For him, reality is what we see, touch, and study. While Plato said the senses deceive us, Aristotle said they're where knowledge begins. He developed the four causes to explain how and why things exist, like a statue's material, marble, shape, form, purpose, honor, and creator, the sculptor. Aristotle also pioneered logic, creating the first formal system of reasoning. And in ethics, he believed happiness comes from finding balance, the golden mean between extremes like courage between cowardice and recklessness. In short, Plato searched for truth beyond the world. Aristotle looked for it within it. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom, Aristotle said, not as a dreamer, but as an observer of life itself. Heraclitus saw the universe not as static, but as constant motion. You can't step into the same river twice, he said, because both you and the river are always changing. To him, everything flows, a concept known as flux. He believed fire was the essence of life, always changing, yet ever present. It symbolized transformation, destruction, and rebirth. Heraclitus loved paradoxes, truths hidden in opposites. He said, the path up and the path down are one and the same. For him, tension between opposites wasn't chaos, it was harmony. His views leaned toward relativism. Meaning and truth depend on your perspective. Even language, he believed, reveals and hides reality at the same time. At the heart of it all was the logos, a rational ordering principle that governs everything. Even in a chaotic world, Heraclitus believed there's deep structure and meaning underneath it all. He didn't just accept change, he made it the foundation of truth. Parmenides flipped the ancient world's thinking. He claimed that change is an illusion. According to him, reality is one, unchanging, eternal, and indivisible. This view is called monism. Everything that truly exists is the same, and motion, time, and plurality are mere illusions. He drew a sharp line between truth, what reason shows us, and opinion, what our senses suggest. And our senses, deceptive. For Parmenides, only logic reveals the real. What is, and what is not, is not. Parmenides stood in direct opposition to Heraclitus, who saw the world as constant change and flux. Instead, Parmenides introduced the radical idea of being, that only being exists, and non-being cannot even be thought, let alone exist. If something is, it cannot not be, and this, he believed, was the foundation of truth itself. Pythagoras wasn't just about right triangles. He founded a communal society that lived by strict rules, shared everything, and followed a kind of spiritual science. He believed in metempsychosis, the idea that souls are reborn again and again, even into animals. That's why he promoted a pure, often vegetarian life. But his real magic? Musica universalis, the music of the spheres. He taught that the cosmos moves in perfect harmony, like a silent symphony shaped by numbers. All is number, he said, a mystical blend of math, music, and meaning. As a mystical symbol, it is the geometrical representation of the fourth triangular number. The Tetractys was therefore very important to the secret worship of Pythagoreanism. There were 4 seasons, and the number was also associated with planetary motions and music. It is said that the Pythagorean musical system was based on the Tetractys, as the rows can be read as the ratios of 4 to 3, perfect fourth, 3 to 2, perfect fifth, 2 to 1, octave, forming the basic intervals of the Pythagorean scales. Meet Democritus, the laughing philosopher, not because life was easy, but because he believed cheerfulness was a sign of wisdom. He laughed at human folly and focused on what truly matters, understanding the universe. A committed materialist, Democritus is most famous for his atomic theory. He said everything is made of tiny, indivisible particles called atoms, moving through the void. Long before modern science, he imagined a universe governed by natural laws, not myth. But he wasn't just a philosopher of matter. Democritus also explored ethics, mathematics, astronomy, biology, and psychology, aiming to explain the world logically and joyfully. To him, a balanced mind and knowledge of nature were the keys to happiness, not wealth or status. Epicurus believed that the purpose of life is happiness, not through luxury, but through peace of mind and freedom from suffering. His philosophy focused on ethics, epistemology, physics, and theology. He taught that everything is made of atoms, including the soul, and that the gods exist, but they don't interfere in human affairs. Epicurus emphasized 2 key states: ataraxia, freedom from mental disturbance; aponia, the absence of physical pain. He famously said, "Death is nothing to us," because when we exist, death is not, and when death is, we are not. This idea was central to freeing people from the fear of dying. He argued that understanding the natural world frees us from irrational fears, especially the fear of death. In his community, the garden, people lived simply, pursued knowledge, and valued friendship above all. For Epicurus, a wise life is a calm life, rich in thought, not possessions. Zeno of Citium founded Stoicism, a powerful philosophy built on logic, physics, and ethics. He believed the universe is governed by logos, a divine rational order, and that living well means aligning with this reason. Zeno taught that human nature is rational, and virtue is the only true good. Emotions to him are mistakes in judgment. And through clear perception, phantasiae, and firm understanding, catalepsis, we gain peace. He divided philosophy into 3 branches: logic, to train the mind; physics, to understand the world; ethics, to guide our actions. Zeno also introduced the idea of world citizenship, that we all belong to a single, shared human community. For Zeno, happiness comes from living in harmony with nature, reason, and virtue, no matter what life throws at us. Anaxagoras was a trailblazing natural philosopher who brought reason and science to Athens. He believed everything is made of eternal fragments, endlessly mixed. What we see depends on which parts dominate. To explain motion and order, he introduced nous, a universal mind that separated chaos, moved the cosmos, and gave it structure. Anaxagoras explained eclipses, meteors, and rainbows, described the sun as a blazing mass, and said the moon had mountains, maybe even life. He even proposed panspermia, that life is scattered across the universe. In prison, he tackled the ancient puzzle of squaring the circle, the first Greek to try. For Anaxagoras, it was mind, not myth, that shaped the universe. The journey through ancient wisdom has just begun. Hit subscribe and walk the path with me.